Nehemiah, and Nehemiah does this in first person, and it's an interesting story. So we're going to look at what the book of Nehemiah is first. The book of Nehemiah is a continuation of the account that begins with the book of Ezra. Nehemiah beheld the position held the position of cupbearer in the court of the king Artaxerxes of Persia. After learning that the walls of Jerusalem had not been rebuilt, Nehemiah asked the king for permission to return to Jerusalem and rebuild them. The king granted Nehemiah's request and provided him with needed supplies. Under Nehemiah's direction, the walls of Jerusalem were rebuilt about 444 BC. The book of Nehemiah is outlined as follows. We've got 1 through 6, the rebuilding of Jerusalem's walls, and we have 7 through 13, the restoration of the community in Jerusalem and dedication of the walls. So this is the building of Jerusalem that we have here. And we're going to read chapter 2. We're not going to read chapter 1. So after having a prayer, or after being worried about the people in Jerusalem, his own people, he seems not to have cared whether or not he went up, but he worried more about the people in Jerusalem. And I think, why is it important to rebuild Jerusalem's walls? Rebuilding Jerusalem's walls was essential for safeguarding the city against potential attackers and military threats. It also helped reestablish Jerusalem's religious, economic, and political influence in the region. Many of the neighbors in the surrounding area opposed Nehemiah's project because they feared the impact it would have on their power and control. Despite many attempts by Nehemiah's enemies to hinder the work, Nehemiah and his group finished the rebuilding of the walls in only 52 days. The speed and quality of the work were so remarkable that even their adversaries admitted this work was wrought of God. So we're going to get in there and look right at this and read how he gets this. So we've got the temple. We need to protect the temple, and it seems that Nehemiah is the one that is going to do that. And I don't know if there is a overlap. It seems that there could easily be where they're building the temple and this is happening at the same time, but they're taken separately. And it came to pass that in the month Nisan, in the 20th year of Artaxerxes, the king, that wine was before him, and I took up the wine and gave it to the king. Notice the first person. This is the first time I think we've got a first person writing something. Now I had not been before time sad in his presence. Wherefore the king said unto me, Why is thy presence sad, seeing thou art not sick? This is nothing else but sorrow of the heart. Then I was so afraid. So he's a bit afraid to answer what is happening. And said unto the king, Let the king live forever. Why should not my presence be sad when the city of the place of my father's sepulchres lieth waste, and the gates thereof are consumed with fire? So he's putting out, the place of my ancestry is still in ruins. And the king said unto me, For what dost thou make a request? So I prayed to God of heaven. I think it's interesting. The king says, well, what's your request? And so he prays. He tries to find out, well, what is it that want to do about it? And he said unto the king, If it please the king, and if thy servant have found favor in thy sight, that thou wouldst send me unto Judah, unto the city of my father's sepulchres, that I may build it. And the king said unto me, the queen also sitting by him, For how long shall the journey be, and when wilt thou return? So it pleased the king to send me, and I set him a time. So there is a time set that when he needs to go. Moreover, I said unto the king, If it please the king, let letters be given me to the governors beyond the river, that they may convey me over till I come into Jerusalem. So the people west of the river that we keep hearing about, ones that have been a bit antagonistic, has been sent so that he can go through in peace. And a letter unto Asaph, the keeper of the king's forest, that he may give me timber to make beams for the gates and of the palace which appertain to the house, and for the wall of the city, and for the house that I shall enter into. And the king granted me according to the good hand of my God upon me. Then I came to the governors beyond the river, and gave them the king's letters. Now the king had sent captains of the army and horsemen with me. So he wasn't alone, and probably a good thing, so that he doesn't have this problem when he meets Sanballat the Hornite and Tobiah the servant of the Ammonite heard of it. It grieved them exceedingly that there was come a man to seek the welfare of the children of Israel. They didn't like that. They had their own things. And it says here, who was Sanballat and Tobiah? Sanballat was a governor of Samaria. Tobiah was an Ammonite official and influential member of the community in Jerusalem. These men were threatened by Nehemiah's arrival because they were worried their influential positions might be compromised. So I came to Jerusalem and was there 3 days. And I rose in the night. I find this an interesting part. I rose in the night, and I and a few of the men with me neither told any man what my God had put in my heart to do at Jerusalem. Neither was there any beast with me, save the beast I rode upon. And I went out by night by the gate of the valley, even before the dragon well, to the dung port, and viewed the walls of Jerusalem, which were broken down, and the gates thereof were consumed with fire. So he's going to these places that have been destroyed. If you look at these 3 different places, they do give you references to where it would be in later years. But I'm not going to go into that. These are different places that he went to. And I went on to the gate, again, another place, of the fountain of the king's pool. Like I said, if you look in the footnotes like I did before, perhaps the gate Angel, the king's pool could be Siloam. And so you see there, you just read those. I didn't think it was necessary to go into those too much. But there was no place for the beast that was under me to pass, so it was a narrow gate, a small place. Then went I up in the night by the brook, and viewed the wall, and turned back, and entered the gate of the valley, and so returned. And the rulers knew not whither I went, or what I did, neither had I as yet told it to the Jews, nor to the priests, nor to the nobles, nor to the rulers, nor to the rest that did the work. Then said I unto them, See ye the distress that we are in, how Jerusalem lieth in waste, and the gates thereof are burned with fire. Come, let us build up the wall of Jerusalem, that we may no more be no more a reproach. He's saying it just looks like a ruin right now. We need to fix this. And he told them of the hand of my God, then I told them of the hand of my God, which was good upon me, also the king's words that he spoken unto me. And they said, Let us rise up and build. So they strengthened their hands for this good work. But when Sanballat and the Hornite and Tibioa, the Ammonite, and Geshem, the Arabian, now they're thrown in the third person, heard it, they laughed us to scorn and despised us, and said, What is this thing ye do? Will ye rebel against your king? So one thing that they're doing here is they're mocking them for one thing, laughed them to scorn, and despised them. Sound familiar? This happens so often with people who are trying to do something righteous. And then they tell something that is a little bit wrong, and maybe in their eyes they think it's right. And we see it when the people write the letters to the kings in our last chapter, where they see it as a rebellion against the king. Then answered I them, and said unto them, The God of heaven, he will prosper us. Therefore we his servants will rise and build. But ye have no portion, nor right, nor memorial in Jerusalem. And that sounds quite bold again, just like we read before. But he is telling the truth. These people are there to promote themselves, and he's saying that's not what we're doing. We're building a city here. We're not just living off the people or something. We're here for a reason. And we'll see a little bit more of that in the next few chapters.